Hey there, you are watching New Vision TV News. I am Ruthina. So just starting off this bulletin of the stories around Uganda, where we look at stories making the headlines across the country. Now, a New Vision investigation shows that police officers are asking for money from the public so as to give them police bond, which is supposed to be free. Now, as you can see in the visuals captured by the investigation team, George Indianabanji, the OCCID, or Officer in Charge of Criminal Investigations Department at Kawa Community Police Station, is seen getting a 50,000 note from someone who was securing bond for a suspect in custody at the time. Now, his accomplice, an investigative officer, Yokoram Olari, is also seen receiving money from the same person so as to finish paperwork for Ronald Mujenyi, the suspect, to acquire bond. Now, the full investigation is in the special report at the end of the bulletin, but let us hear from the police political commissaire, Assistant Inspector General of Police, Asane Kasinje, on how one can acquire police bond.
OCCID bwabanga alabye nti omuntu ono ajja kusuka musawa na munana awandika mu fayiro ono ateebwe ku kakalu ka police. Ye police bond. Now, the OC station is supposed now to issue the document, police bond. Okay? Aha. So, boboina abakwimirira abasobola okuleeta bobo obuze katugambe tubayita bayima ndooza sebwe gule so ekyo kyekimu kyokubiri oteeko kuba oyina wosula tumanyiwo place of abode nga police egimanyi oba ogitadde mu fayiro omuntu n'alaba nti kale Kasinje asula wano na wano. Kyokusatu at least LC enokubanga ekumanyi ntono omuntu mmanyi. Ekyokuna omusango ogw'omusango goba gwoba ovunanyibwa omusango nga guri criminal teguri nti civil obaki kale bwe kibanga bamaze okweestablishinga omuntu aweebwa police bond eno nga bw'ogambye ya bwereere.
Moving on to other stories making headlines across the country, we go to Kamuli district where, because of forgery, political bickering and favoritism, Kamuli municipality has lost 900 million shillings, which was meant to be got from the Uganda support for municipalities in infrastructure development project. At the close of the week, Moses Akalenga, the clerk to council, read a letter dated March 29th from the Finance Ministry naming Kamuli among the 4 municipalities that were dropped from accessing 900 million shillings for the financial year 2019-2020. The council session, which was presided over by the Speaker, Crispus Kauzi, in the council hall, had Mayor David Musasi blast the town clerk, Ronald Rose Baganzi, for misguiding the infant, a 4-year-old municipality. Musasi said the letter was not good news. From Tororo District, President Yoweri Museveni has commended the church establishment for demonstrating commitment towards socio-economic development of the people. His comments were delivered by the Minister for Presidency, Esther Mbayo, during the launch of DHOPADHOLA Bible at Busitama University's Nagongera campus. The President said the launch function demonstrated the gesture of preservation of the heritage of the African culture, and that the DHOPADHOLA, who represented 8% of Ugandan population seeking a language that is mutually intelligible with their Choli, Lango, Alur, and Doluo languages, of Kenya, Naomi Museveni, say the translation of the Bible to DHOPADHOLA is not only a success for the Ugandan Bible Society, but also to the people of Tororo, Butale, Jambali, Manafa, Busia, and Bujili districts. Simon Peter Mukama, the General Secretary of the Bible Society of Uganda, say they have so far injected over 1 billion shillings to support and produce 10,000 copies of the DHOPADHOLA Bible, whose work took about 4 decades to complete. We have sad news from Kagadi district, where a 3-year-old boy has died and three other members of his family hospitalized after their house collapsed on them during a heavy hailstorm that hit 3 villages in Impeful sub-county. Robert Nkwasiwe, the area OC3 chairperson, said the strong winds ravaged several houses and crops. Now, many animals were also killed in the villages of Waihembe, Chijumbu and Kandola. He appealed to the district production department and the disaster preparedness ministry to come to their rescue in the aftermath of the devastating storm. Closing off the news around Uganda is a story from the capital city, Kampala, where police in Kyambogo have arrested a man suspected of trying to steal a motor vehicle at the National Curriculum Development Center. The suspect was identified as Kembe Julius, and he is currently detained at Kyambogo University Police Station. The holding charges is stealing a motor vehicle. That is it for the news around Uganda. Let us take a look at the news around East Africa and around the world with Lynn Komjishe.
Hello, this is News Around East Africa. My name is Lynn Komjisha. We start off with Kenya. Kenya's Deputy President William Ruto has criticized his rivals, whom he believes are behind a campaign hindering him from rising to the presidency. Ruto told the rivals behind Operation Stop Ruto to relax and wait for the ballot in 2022. News from Tanzania. The government of Tanzania has been sued for appointing Justice Sauda Majasiri as the judge of the East African Court of Justice. The East African Law Society says Majasiri lacks critical qualifications needed for this post. In Uganda, the President of the Republic of Uganda, President Yoweri Museveni, has assured Ugandans and tourists that Uganda is safe and that security is to be continually improved at the different game parks. The President's remarks come after the rescue of a U.S. national, Sue Kimberly, and safari driver Jean-Paul Mirenge, who were kidnapped during their evening game drive at Queen Elizabeth National Park. From South Sudan ruling and opposition leaders are set to meet in the Vatican as invited by the Pope for a spiritual retreat aimed at building confidence between the arch-rivals. The first Vice President Taban Dengai has left Juba for the Vatican today, and President Kiir is expected to find him there about 2 days later. Away from East Africa, we take a look at what's making headlines elsewhere. We begin with Sudan. Security forces in Sudan fired tear gas at protesters in an attempt to break up a demonstration in front of the Defense Ministry in central Khartoum. A witness said the security forces on pickup trucks fired the gas as they charged towards the protesters who've been calling for the resignation of President Omar al-Bashir and deepening economic woes. In Libya, the army behind Libya's UN-backed government has announced a counter-offensive to defend Tripoli, vowing to reclaim all areas seized by forces loyal to renegade General Khalifa Haftar, who have been marching on the outskirts of the capital. In India, India's ruling party, BJP, has released its manifesto ahead of the upcoming elections, making 75 promises, which include the contentious decision to scrap a decades-old law providing special rights to residents of disputed Kashmir region. News coming in from United Arab Emirates. A British woman is facing 2 years in jail in Dubai for calling her ex-husband's new wife a horse on Facebook. She faces prosecution over 2 Facebook comments she posted on pictures of her husband remarrying in 2016. Under the United Arab Emirates cybercrime laws, a person can be jailed or fined for making defamatory statements on Facebook. And that was news around East Africa, as well as news making headlines across the globe. I'm Lynn Komjisha, back to Ruth Naseje.
Thank you, Lynn. And now in our Daily Pal of Africa series, we look at the SIPI Falls. You cannot go to the eastern part of Uganda and miss seeing the 3 spectacular waterfalls known as the SIPI Falls. Now, these falls straddle in 3 districts, which are Kapchorwa, Sironko, and Mbale. Visitors to the waterfalls live with unforgettable memories of the scenery and the several activities they participate in, such as rock climbing and hiking. Let's take a look.
The SIPI Falls lie on the edge of Mount Elgon National Park near the Kenyan border. In Uganda, they straddle 3 districts: Kapchorwa, Sironko, and Mbale. A tour at SIPI Falls is a package of all the adventure you look forward to in Uganda. To begin with is the stunning beauty that dominates the 3 waterfalls. The waterfall at the highest point feeds the 2 waterfalls below it. Being at the slopes of the Elgon mountain, vegetation covers most of its surrounding. Rocks lie beneath the vegetation, supporting hikes across the falls.
It's fine. No, I have boots.
The SIPI Falls area is reported to be the starting point for many hikes up Mount Elgon. Tourists who visit the falls engage in nature walks as they stare at the flowing water from the highest points to a gorge. A few endangered animal species find shelter in the leaves, just like this chameleon. The SIPI Falls area has a cave which bears a legendary story. Many tourists find this point best for taking pictures after a long day of continuous hikes. Locals around the SIPI Falls use the water for various activities. To some, it helps in domestic work, which includes bathing. Others engage in swimming, something you need to give a thought after the adventure. Away from the falls, there are a number of lodges or campsites offering a range of accommodation on minimal budgets. Getting to SIPI Falls depends on where you land. Usually, those living in Entebbe International Airport to SIPI Falls spend about 1 to 2 hours, depending on the traffic on the road. But from the capital Kampala, a minimum of 1.5 hours is all you need. A visit to SIPI Falls is an adventure we all need.
For more Pal of Africa series, visit our website, which is newvision.co.uk/Pal of Africa. You can also follow us on social media for more Pal of Africa series. In our special report today, we'll look at the sale of police bond at several police stations across the country. Now, police bond is supposed to be given free of charge. However, many people go through a great deal of pain in their attempt to secure bond. We investigated the scam in this report. When one visits most police stations in and around Kampala, one cannot miss the several typed A4 paper-sized notices reading, "Police bond is free, do not pay for it." They are visibly pinned on notice boards and in some cases on the walls. Police authorities go an extra mile to inscribe phone numbers of the commanders of the respective stations and toll-free numbers, which they say anyone can call in case a police officer asks for money as a prerequisite for granting a suspect bond. The emphasis put on these notices suggests that police authorities are fighting the practice of police officers asking for money to release suspects on bond. However, a team of Vision Group journalists carried out an investigation at various police stations in Kampala and the surrounding areas and found a different picture. Our investigative team got telltale evidence showing police officers taking money from relatives and friends of suspects as a requirement for them to secure bond. As we moved from station to station, we discovered that the money paid for bond differs depending on the nature of the case, and in many cases, it is negotiable. For cases where police officers carry out swabs and arrest dozens of mostly youth suspected to be criminals, investigations discovered that policemen usually ask the suspects to pay 50,000 shillings so that they can be released on bond. In one of the cases, we captured all our investigative cameras at Kaboa Community Police Station. A man who looks like a broker approaching relatives ostensibly to negotiate on their behalf, dressed in a checked shirt and grey trousers. The well-built, clean-shaven man cuts a figure of a mature person, probably in his late 40s or early 50s. We do not know whether he is a policeman or not, but given the evidence with which he talks to relatives of suspects, one can easily trust him. Clearly, he is a broker trying to explain how much should be paid to secure bond. At the same police station, Kaboa Community Police Station, we engage the investigating officer, who we establish is called Yokoram Olaru, to secure bond for a suspect.
My suspect again, I just
with the help of a relative to a suspect in custody whose identity will not disclose for security purposes, on April 2nd, he engaged with Yokoram Olaru, who told him the suspect was arrested on March 29th and that the file was ready to be taken to court. The suspect's name is Rashid Mujenyi, arrested on allegations of stealing a hen belonging to one Resti Nambiru. Having assured the relative to Mujenyi that he had sourced all the statements from the complainant, the witness, and the suspect, and all that is left is to present to the judge, he drops the bombshell with enthusiasm that we can now dance to his tunes. He said, "Go to the next office, you will find a man wearing glasses. Just tell him everything and ask him what you should do. Whatever he tells you, come back to me." In the next room, we find a light-skinned man with a mustache wearing glasses. We later learn that he is called George Nyanabanji, the officer in charge of Criminal Investigations Department, or CCID, at Kaboa Community Police Station. After exchanging pleasantries, we straight away explain the reason why we are in his office seeking bond for the suspect. We tell Njanabanji that the suspect has been detained since March 29th. By implication, the mandatory 48 hours that he was supposed to spend in custody had elapsed without him being produced in court, and therefore he deserved to be granted bond. When interacting with the OCCID, he asks what the suspect's case is. Unfortunately, we had mistakenly forgotten to ask for his details from the suspect's friend. To avoid suspicion, we quickly excuse ourselves to go back to the investigating officer to establish the offense. We ask permission to go to the cells to talk to the suspect, who says he is a manicurist, and at the time of his arrest, at around 4 p.m. on March 29th, he was knocking at a customer's gate in Kaboa. On our return, we negotiate with Njanabanji. He agrees to take 50,000 shillings before he sends us back to the investigating officer Olaru to process his bond document. However, Olaru also asks to be given something, apparently for his help and processing the bond papers. So we give him 10,000 shillings. Both Indiana Banji and Olaru picked the money without any regard to a possibility of being recorded. 21-year-old Rashid Mujenyi, the suspect, promises never to engage in any criminal act.
Bakutobbi toddamu okubba otegere fele zetwale poliisi meka ate omulala tumuwadde meka zolabyeko n'omukazi bamuwetta esente meka wamu bamujja mukaaga kitundu.
Seeking money from the public to get a service which is supposed to be free continues in many police stations. The police political commissar, Assistant Inspector General of Police, Asan Kasinja, says if a suspect's file has not been sanctioned to the Director Public Prosecution's Office after spending 48 hours in custody, a suspect must be released on police bond, which is free.
OCCID bw'abanga alabye nti omuntu ono ajja kusuka musawa na 8 awandika mu fayiro ono ateebwe ku kakalu ka police ye police bond sibuke guli. Now the OC station is supposed now to issue the document police bond eno. Okay? Aha. So bw'oba oyina abakwimirira abasobola okuleeta bw'oba obuze katugambe tubayita abayima ndowooza si bwe gule. So ekyo kyekimu. Ekyokubiri oteekwa okuba oyina wosula tumanyiwo place of abode nga poliisi egimanyi oba ogitadde mu fayiro omuntu n'alaba nti kale Kasinje asula wano na wano. Kyokusatu at least LC erina okuba nga ekumanyi nti ono omuntu tumumanyi. Ekyokuna omusango ogw'omusango gwoba gwoba ovunaanyibwa omusango nga guri criminal teguri nti civil oba ki kale bwe kibanga bamaze okweestablishinga omuntu aweebwa police bond eno nga bw'ogambye ya bwereere.
He asserts that such officials who ask for bribes should be reported to the anti-corruption unit so that legal action is administered.
Okujja omuntu kumujjako police bond, essential police bond, kiba kitegeeza buli yake. Si bwe kiri. That is corruption. That is bribery. Osobola nabo okubakubira n'obategeeza nti wano omuserikale gundi ne gundi yatutte emitwalo gyange 2. Yes. So that is what we can do.
In part 2 of the series, we will bring you tricks police officers use to extort money from the public. Vision Group Investigative Project is supported by the Democratic Governance Facility. Now, Vision Group started running stories on how Ugandans are paying for bond at police stations. The Bond for Sale story will run as a series which will highlight a number of issues, such as exposing how the policemen ask and get the money and the tricks they use to make the suspects' relatives pay for the police bond. Such investigative stories will also be concurrently run on all the other Vision Group platforms, including Bukede Newspaper, Bukede Television, Bukede Radio, and all the Media Group's digital platforms. Thank you for watching. Stay with us on our social media platforms, which are Facebook, The New Vision, Twitter is at New Vision Wire, Instagram is at New Vision Wire, Twitter is at New Vision Wire, and our YouTube channel is New Vision TV. Catch up with me on my Twitter handle. I am Ruthie the Voice. Thank you for watching.